Good morning. Today is going to be an important video. We're going to have a blast from the past, and it's going to go through really valuable suggestions to heal yourself. Out for a little walk this morning. I'm doing my full walk because my symptoms, I'm not going to talk about them because they're triggers for people, and they're triggers for me too. But it feels like I'm right back at the beginning. I have anxiety 24/7 in my stomach, churning, my brain, my racing thoughts. The depersonalization, the derealization, the dizziness, the fogginess, I'm getting, physical symptoms and little tremors and shocks and pricks and all these things. My heart's beating out of its chest. Things that I can't, breathing and calming down. And so, first of all, so I'm walking through it today. I'm doing my full walk. But second, I wanted to post a video a couple of years ago. It was for you guys, but now I'm using it for me. It was the 5 things that I would do if I had to start all over again, if my symptoms suddenly came back. And so, since I'm not clear-headed and I'm more frantic thinking right now in my own spiral, I'm going to use my wisdom when I was well and when I had walked through it to figure out what I did. So without further ado, here is that valuable video. I am going to take of this advice to heart, and I hope you do as well.
Today we are going to discuss the 5 things that I would do if I had to start over again. So if I was starting from the beginning and if something happened to me and all my symptoms came back, these are the 5 things that I would do to focus on in order to heal myself. So God forbid I ever have to go through this again. If something happened to me tomorrow and I was right back in the same position, this is what I would focus on. Knowing everything that I've been through now and all the things that I've tried and all the things that have failed and all the things that have, made some progression and whatever, if I look at it as a whole now, because remember, I have some perspective, right? I have 8 years of healing under my belt, so I've got a lot of perspective. I'm going to give you the 5 things that you need to do, or the 5 things that I would do if I had to do it over again, that I think are the most beneficial, and they're mostly free, okay? So I know that people spend a lot of money when they're trying to heal. I know that you have wasted a lot of money and a lot of time, but if I was in the position again where all my symptoms came back, or I had to start from scratch all over again, I would dedicate myself to these 5 things. I wouldn't just kind of do them. I wouldn't do them for 30 days. I wouldn't do them for 90 days. I would do them consistently, day in and day out, for as long as it took, because I know that these 5 things over time build up and work. Okay, so number 1, sleep. I want you to put sleep right at the top of your list. This is the number 1 thing I would do. I would make sure that my bedtime is between 9 or 9:30, okay? If it doesn't have a 9 in front of it, it doesn't work, okay? If you're into the 10s, it's too late. You will not heal this way, okay? So closer to 9 is better. If you can't do it until 9:30, I understand. If you're 9:45, you're really pushing it, okay? This number must have a 9 in front of it, okay? So you want to go to bed in the 9s, closer to 9. Let's say 9:30. Let's say that's all you can do. This is your bedtime, okay? So that means you've already looked at your phone, you've already had your tea, you've already watched your TV program, you've already brushed your teeth, it's like trying to get kids ready for bed. Have you ever tried to get kids ready for bed? They have an 8 o'clock bedtime or an 8:30 bedtime. And then it's, oh, I forgot to get a drink of water, I have to brush my teeth. And you don't get out of the room until a half an hour later. That's not what I'm talking about here. I'm talking about you're already in your pajamas, you've already brushed your teeth, you've already done your skincare routine, you've already looked at your phone, you've already done whatever you need to do, and you're ready to crawl into bed at 9:30 and sleep. The lights are out, you're in bed, okay? So I have some videos on sleep specifically that you could go check out, or you can get this information in a lot of different places. But sleep's important, so the quality is important, the quantity is important. You're aiming for at least 10 hours of sleep a night, and you want quality sleep. Now, I realize when you're really sick and you're suffering with a lot of physical symptoms, you often cannot get that sleep. So it's, again, this is a long haul thing. This is over time. You're just looking to crawl into bed. There's a lot of different things you can do, from dimming out all the lights to wearing your blue blockers to making sure it's cool in the room, right? To doing a meditation to calm your mind. That's a great spot to do meditation right before you sleep. If you can't fall asleep, do a meditation as you're falling asleep. So there's lots of different things you can do to improve sleep quality, but I'm just talking about quantity here. I'm saying in bed at 9:30, and you want to be in bed for 10 hours, okay? So you don't want to get out of that bed until 7, whatever it is, okay? But if you have to get up at 6 o'clock in order to do your routine or get your kids ready or whatever, then you need a 9 o'clock bedtime, okay? You need to make it earlier. If you can do an 8 o'clock bedtime, that's better. So depending on when you have to get up, you really, like 8 hours is the minimum that you can sleep. 9 hours is good. 10 hours is ideal. We want to do 10 hours a day, especially if you cannot nap during the day. Okay, so put it on your list. That's one of the main things that I would do if I was sick again. I would commit to sleep. I would put it on my list. I wouldn't let anything get in the way. No excuses, no phones, no whatever. No, I haven't watched my TV show. I would get into the bed and I would sleep. Number 2, diet. Okay, so I haven't been talking a lot about diet lately, but I do have some videos on diet, many. You can go check those out. However, the fundamentals of diet are this important. I would put it number 2 on my list. I would make sure that I've got a diet that I can commit to over the long term, and I would focus on a few main factors, okay? So I'm not talking about trying this diet and then that diet and then this diet and then that diet. I've done that. I have followed all the diets, the elimination diets, the AIP diets, the keto diets, the carnivore diets, the raw vegan diets, the vegan diet. I've tried them all, okay? And what I'm here to tell you is you want to make sure that you're consistent and that you're really hitting some targets in a few main areas. So I would focus on animal products and produce, fruits and vegetables. So don't get caught up in the hype like, oh my gosh, my blood sugar and I can't have sugar, I can't have fruit. Okay, what we're aiming for in this long haul healing diet that you can do consistently, we're looking for animal products that are grass-fed and organic. We definitely want them to be grass-fed and grass-finished. You must look for a farm in your area. You have to. You cannot get this stuff at the grocery store. Look for a local farm within an hour's drive of you that is, you can go to the farm, you can meet the farmer, you can see the animals, you can see the conditions that they live in, you see the grass, you see what's happening, you see their environment. This is not a factory farm, and you must source this. So that's one of the first things I would do, is I would source a local farm that does grass-fed, grass-finished, like grass-fed, really high-quality meat, local products in your area. From chicken to beef to bison to elk to goat to fish, I would eat wild-caught salmon. I would eat some different shellfish. I would eat some oysters. I would make bone broth. I would have some of the tallow. I would have the high fat content and the meat. I would have some good high quality protein in my diet that's grass fed, okay, or wild caught. So that's what we're going for. You must source this. So if I was starting at the beginning, I wouldn't wait on this. I would get right on it and find your source. The next thing you want to focus on is greens and colors. So once you do your high quality animal products, you want to focus on greens and colors. So I wouldn't worry too much about your food intolerances. I wouldn't worry too much about high-low carb. I really wouldn't get into that, okay? What I would do is saying, am I eating greens? Am I eating enough greens, okay? These are your lettuces and your spinaches and all kale, all the different greens that you can come across, okay? Even romaine lettuce, just go through it. Buy organic, all the produce organic, just a base of greens as your lunch, a base of greens as your dinner. Then you want colorful vegetables. So you're going to be having all different colors of the rainbows, right? Are you eating colors? And so this can include vegetables and this can include fruit. So colorful, right? We think berries. We think, fruits and vegetables like that have high color, and different kinds of fruits, different kinds of vegetables that are in season, that are local, that are organic. You want to be eating this because this is where you're getting your vitamins, your minerals, your antioxidants, your polyphenols. This is where you're going. So anything other than those groups, I'm not saying you can't eat it, but that 95% of your diet should be what I said. It's basic, it's easy. You want to make sure that you have some high quality fats in there, like coconut, avocado. You can do some oils, so cold pressed oils, avocado oil, olive oil, coconut oil. And so you really do want a ratio of carbs, protein, and fats in your diet. And you want to ask yourself the three things, the three fundamentals of diets. Do I have enough protein and animal products and fats in my diet? Have I eaten enough greens? And have I had enough colors? Okay, that's it. This is pretty much what you want to have. So I'm not saying cancel all nuts and seeds, because these are good things. We can throw them in our smoothies. We can have them, grab a handful as a snack. But if we're relying on anything other, even if it's plant-based, even if it's good, high quality meat, even if it's good, whatever it is, it's not what you should be eating to heal over the long term. So you really want platefuls, handfuls. You can blend these, mix them, make soups, stews, smoothies. You really want to get a high amount of greens and a high amount of colorful fruits and vegetables, okay? That's really what we're going here for. You can get lots of different things that way. You can spread it out, you can mix and match, you can have some sulfur vegetables, you can have some stone fruit. I mean, you can do it. So that's what you should focus on, because that is really how you're going to heal over the long term. Number 3, calming the nervous system. You have to get out of fight or flight. And for those of you who have watched a lot of my videos, you know I really believe that a dysregulated nervous system is most of what you need to heal. When you're really ill, when you're really sick, when you're really suffering, you cannot do the inner work. You want to do the inner work. You want to do the trauma work. You can't focus on it because you're in survival mode. You're in suffering mode. You are just going from moment to moment to moment to moment. And maybe some of you are further along the path, and some of you are really down in the bottom, okay? But this works for everyone. We want to heal our nervous system and get out of fight or flight as much as we possibly can. So we need to learn how to breathe, right? To breathe deeply into our diaphragm. Slow it down. Just slow down our thoughts and our thinking. Slow down the rate at which we're speaking. We want to slow down our movements, slowing down, calming down, right? Really taking it down. All those worries, we're letting them go. We're just calming the monkey mind in this phase. We're bringing it down. Everything's down. So when we run up against our triggers, whether they're environmental or through relationships, or they're an internal or an external trigger, whatever it is, a memory, however you are triggered in your day, you need to become aware. Awareness is so important, that this is what's happening. And your number one job, this is your job in healing, is to stay in parasympathetic mode, where your nervous system is not activated and it's not in sympathetic mode and it is not in fight or flight. So whatever you can do, you know, what if drinking tea, resting, napping, sitting in the sun, reading, doing some hobby that you like, staying away from certain people, you know, calming down, doing a meditation. There are many ways, there are many tools, but we are looking to bring our body down. We want to teach our brain new ways of handling things. But when you're in the depths, it's really hard to do brain retraining. It's really hard to work on our emotional triggers and healing the trauma. So in the meantime, what you need to do is just turn off the activated stress response system. And you need to calm down. You need to breathe. You need to remind yourself that you're safe and everything's going to be okay. And then you need to believe that. You need to trick your body, your mind, your heart, your soul into believing that you are going to be okay, that you're safe. We're not going to react to every symptom, to every trigger, to every relationship problem, to all the mental chatter, to all the physical alarm bells and symptoms going off. We're going to calm ourselves. We're going to say, I'm going to heal, I'm going to breathe, and I'm just going to remind myself, basically, day in and day out, constantly, that I'm safe, that I have time, that I can slow down, that everything's okay. This is critical. So if you haven't seen some of my videos on fight or flight, please go watch those. If you haven't seen any videos on the healing response, you may go watch those as well. But this is so critical for healing, okay? So we've got sleep, we've got diet, and we've got the fight or flight system being turned off, right? We really need to deactivate that system and calm our nervous system down. These are the top 3 things. If you only did these things, if this is all that you watch of this video, you may turn it off for now. You may go do those 3 things, and eventually, over time, you are going to heal, okay? So you must do those 3 things, and those 3 things are going to get you most of the way there. So I'm going to give you the 2 other things that I would do if I had to start from the beginning. And number 4, I would walk every day. Yes, even if I'm in pain. Yes, even if I'm bedbound. Yes, even if it hurts to walk. Yes, even if I'm in a wheelchair. Okay, so I would take whatever state that I'm in and I would walk every day. If that means putting on my running shoes and going outside and only being able to go 5 houses, then I would do it. I would do it again the next day, and I would make it just a little bit longer and a little bit longer and a little bit longer. And by a little bit longer, could be this much, could be literally this much on the road, or it could be another kilometer, depending on how you feel, okay? So I would stretch that out. If you're in a wheelchair, I would wheel. Then I would get my walker, right? I would keep going. I would keep going further. I would build my stamina. This is a retraining of walking. I would do this for a full hour. So what happens if you cannot walk the full hour? Then I would stay the rest of the hour outside, sitting down, meditating in the sunshine. You've done your hour. Maybe at first you only do the actual 5 minutes of walking and you do 55 minutes of sitting there. That's what I would do. When my hour's done, I would come inside. You'll eventually be walking the entire 60 minutes. But the reason I would do this, no matter the weather, no matter the conditions, no matter how you feel, no matter what, is for several reasons. One, you need to build your physical stamina. You need to build some endurance. And you need to build belief in your system, in yourself. The other reason that I like walking so much is that it gets us outside, which is another key factor of healing. Getting sunlight on your skin, getting fresh air into your lungs. If you can get in nature somewhere, then you are getting in nature. You're grounded to the earth. All of these things are super healing. So it's not necessarily the act of walking, but it's being out in nature for that full hour, right? Soaking in the benefits of Mother Earth for that full hour. This also gives us time. You can meditate. You can listen to podcasts or books about healing, about trauma. Now, I'm not saying don't go listen to more on diet and don't go, I just gave you, right? You don't need to investigate. This isn't an investigative hour because this will turn on your fight or flight system, which is what you want to decompress. These are meditative podcasts that you're listening to, meditative books, deeper healing work, inner child work, right? Investigating that trauma that we have within. We're really going deeper with ourselves. We're listening to ourselves. We're looking around at nature. We're taking time to decompress, to calm down, to be in nature, to hear our own voice, to love ourselves, right? To listen to ourselves and to learn. So this is where you can learn. This is where you can use the books to, if you cannot shut off the negative thinking, the negative monkey mind, then you're going to listen to other stories of hope or really a motivational book, something that's inspirational and motivational. It keeps you going, and it helps you learn, and it helps you grow, it helps you evolve, and it helps you become a better version of who you are. These are the types of things I want you to listen to and work on in this hour. So you're going to do this whether there's a snowstorm, whether it's raining, whether you're not feeling well, whether you have symptoms, whether you're busy. This is what I would do if I had to start over. I didn't do it soon enough. I did it and it really helped in my journey, but I didn't do it soon enough. So I would definitely put that on the list of what I think is going to heal you over the long term the best, okay? And let's move on to the last one, number 5. I would write or I would talk into a video camera, much like I'm doing now. I would take a half an hour a day and I would just write my thoughts, write my feelings, write what I'm going through, write what I'm feeling. Focus on your feelings, your emotions. What are they telling you? What are you pushing down, suppressing, hiding from others, wearing that mask, pretending everything's okay when everything isn't? These are the things that you need to get out. And I would start every day by writing. I would write as dark as I needed to. I would write as much and as long as I needed to. I would cry. I would scream on the page. And then I would rip it up and get rid of it so no one ever sees it. I would express myself somehow. So if you need to talk to a therapist, if you have someone you can talk to, if you can write, if you can talk into a video camera, if you can, however it is that you can express, I would express what's wrong, what you're feeling, what your emotions are, what you need, what you miss, what you love. I would express what needs to come out deep down, because healing trauma is going to be key to healing your illness, your chronic illness. But a lot of times, like I said, if I was starting over at the beginning, you don't have the room to do that. Sometimes all you have is the room to cry. Go into a room, lock yourself in the room, and cry for half an hour. Scream into a pillow. Complain or cry to a therapist. You sometimes don't know that you're healing trauma by expressing what's in you and getting it out, but this is the starting point to healing trauma. So we have to acknowledge what's in there. We can't push it down. We can't suppress it. We can't keep it held in. We can't wear masks. We can't pretend that we're okay when we're not. If we must pretend in front of certain people in our lives, or in front of our children, or in front of whoever, I get that. But if we keep it down and we don't express it out, if we don't let it out, it can't be heard. And if it can't be heard, it can't heal. So we need to start by expressing ourselves every day for at least a half an hour, probably longer if you're really sick. Getting it out. Practice getting it out. Saying whatever you need to. Knowing that you can destroy this, burn it, throw it out, get rid of it, that none of it even has to be true. But you need an outlet to vent, to cry, to scream, to get down to the deeper stuff. Right? The deeper stuff, the fears, the heartbreak, the grief, the loneliness, the desperation, the hopelessness, and the helplessness. We need to express this to ourselves on paper. However it is, write a book, whatever you can do to get this out of your body so it's not stored in there, it's not being held in there. That's what trauma is. It's a held stress and memory in your body. We need to get these things out. We need to start working at expressing every day. This will lead us into trauma work over time, which is what we will need to do to heal. But we need to express every day. You cannot hold it in. Express your deeper feelings that you have inside. Do not turn away from yourself ever. Sit with yourself for as long as it takes. Because ultimately you need to work up to be able to love yourself, sit with yourself, never abandon yourself unconditionally. And over time, we build trust with ourselves by staying, by listening, to being there, and to loving unconditionally the wounded part of yourself that desperately needs to be loved and comforted and told that they're going to be okay and that you are going to be with them no matter what, forever. So, I hope that this video has been helpful. I know it's a lot, but if I had to start over again, I would put these 5 things at the top of the list. They're free and they are seriously going to help you move forward. But again, you cannot do them little bits at a time. You have to commit to doing these every day, day in and day out. Do them. Commit to doing them all for a year and then see what benefit they've brought into your life and how they've moved your healing forward. You will notice a difference if you do these consistently. And like I said, there are so many things, these shiny objects, shiny protocols, shiny supplements, shiny things to try, programs, all these things. I realize they're enticing. They sort of promise the magic pill. But I want to remind you that if I had to go back from scratch, these are the 5 things that I would definitely straight away implement, no questions asked.
All right, so now we know the most important things. I believe myself because I walked out of this, and I know that this is all fear-based. I know that this could be part physical, but I know that this is psychosomatic. I know that this is a mind-body spiral. I know that this is based on fear. I know that fear can do crazy things. Trauma, PTSD, the trauma of what I lived through before is coming back to haunt me, and I'm through that again. So trauma, fear, and so the suggestions in this video is exactly what I need to focus on, and I hope this video has been as helpful as it has been to me, and I will see